So please welcome Richard Gale.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here, and I've got a very fast-moving presentation because I've got to be done by 8 p.m. to meet to...
Well, you got 8:03 maybe.
8:03, okay. We're going to start out just by showing you guys The Horribly Slow Murderer with the Extremely Inefficient Weapon, which is a 10-minute-long faux movie trailer. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about it, except that it's a horror comedy. If you don't like horror, there's a couple of shots you may go, but other than that, yeah, hope you enjoy it.
So this is a trailer or the actual piece?
It is the actual piece. The actual comedy short is a fake movie trailer. Thank you. So that's The Horribly Slow Murderer. It was a concept that I had like 15 years before we made it, and it was something that we never actually did, and then decided we wanted to just make a funny comedy short, and it was supposed to be 2 minutes long, and it ended up, every time I described it to people, I described it, oh, it's epic, it's epic. And I should have known that's a red flag, you're gonna be in trouble. Because it ended up being a big short film project, as you're about to find out, because I'm going to show you some behind-the-scenes stuff. And it's a 10-minute short film that has, over the last 3.5 years, grown to take over my life, basically. And I'll explain. So, okay, so the log line on the poster is, "It will kill you, even if it takes the rest of your life." I actually did the voice of the narrator with the help of a lot of compressor and EQ and good stuff like that. Thanks. The actors in the film, the two main actors, the spoon killer, who's also known as the Ginosaji, Ginosaji is Japanese for silver spoon, is played by Brian Rohan. That's the guy in the hoodie there. And Brian's actually here tonight. Brian, could you stand up for 1 sec, just so people can recognize you? Brian did such an amazing job. And Brian has the coolest gig in the world if you love horror movies. Brian plays Norman Bates at Universal Studios for their tour. So he works full-time at Universal Studios, scaring the crap out of thousands of tourists. It's such a cool gig. Whenever I call him at work, he says, "Oh, I got a tram. Do you want to hold, or do you want me to call you back?" I say, "No, I'll hold." And so if I listen carefully, I can hear like 60 or 80 people going, "Ah!" screaming in terror as he's going towards them. Then he comes back to the phone. Sorry about that. Our other actor who plays the victim of the spoon killer is Paul Clemens. And Paul actually has a very distinguished acting career. In the 70s, he co-starred in a movie called The Passage with Anthony Quinn and a bunch of other great people. And in 1982, he starred in an MGM UA horror film called The Beast Within, where he played the Beast. And he plays Jack Cucciaio. Cucciaio is Italian for spoon, cucchiaio. I'm going to show you guys a quick excerpt. This is rough, but it's a couple things I slapped together for this behind-the-scenes documentary that we're making to give you a sense of sort of the scale of when we're shooting, which is actually pretty small. Something you should know about this film production is that basically the crew, you're looking at him on this particular day of shooting, and the cast, one of them is holding this camera, and the other one is down there holding the tripod. So on this particular location shoot, there are 3 of us, including cast and crew. Shiver, shiver, we're rolling. I'm going to put more snow on your head. Yep. I am rolling right now.
That's fine.
Ready? The snow is instant mashed potato flakes.
Here we go. And shiver, shiver, action.
And when we shot this, it was 90 degrees in the middle of summer, Los Angeles. You can see part of the green screen there on the left.
Keep hitting him.
This is our most expensive prop in the movie. It's a Russian-made RPG-7 shoulder mount grenade launcher, which was real. The prop house had a real one, but it was demilled, so it can't fire. Yeah. The film was shot with a Panasonic, I say film because I like cinema and, you know, even though it's digital, I refer to things as film. It was shot with a Panasonic HVX 200. There it is on a Steadicam Merlin with the arm and vest, and which I own. And I actually found out about the fact that the HVX can fly on the Merlin 5 years ago at the LACPUG Super Meet in Vegas, where Garrett Brown was one of the speakers, and I got to meet him and speak to him personally and get this info from him. So go LACPUG, yeah. This is how we did an underwater shots without an underwater housing for the camera. We had a 5-gallon plexiglass fish tank, which some people had to push down into a swimming pool, and it actually takes a lot of strength to hold that sucker that far into the water. And I had my camera on a tripod on the side of the pool and had to shoot this narrow angle through this one little bit where you couldn't see the edges to get kind of like a glass bottom boat. So if you don't have enough money for an underwater housing, that's one way to do it. By the way, quick show of hands, how many of you out there are also, in addition to editors or other than editors, also directors or producers or like to make your own stuff? Oh, great, there's a lot. We had 23 days of shooting for this 10-minute comedy short. It's because, you know, to make it look like a real movie trailer, it had to be cut extremely quickly, obviously, especially for an action movie. And it had to have a lot of different locations. And so just to get to those locations, even though our crew was so small, it just took a tremendous amount of time. And the only thing that kept us going, because it was so much work, was the fact that we would look at some of the dailies, that was stuff we had shot, and, well, dailies, you know, we'd look at our footage, and it would make us laugh, so we just kept doing it. We took this film to film festivals, and really, I should mention that because the YouTube thing has overshadowed what happened at film festivals, but this film was made to take to festivals. That was the purpose of it. I did not even consider putting it on YouTube in the beginning. And it did really well. It ended up playing in 75 film festivals around the world. It won a bunch of awards. This is at a festival in Austin, Texas. And one of the highlights of the thing was this great festival in Chicago called the Gen Art Film Festival, where they program one short and one feature film per night. So you get a ton of attention. So for a short film filmmaker, this was a thrill. And the feature that they paired Horribly Slow with was 500 Days of Summer, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt and directed by Mark Webb, whose next film was The Amazing Spider-Man. So it was just really cool to be able to hang out with these guys for a little bit. This is the award ceremony at a festival in South Korea near Seoul called PFAN, which is the second largest film festival in South Korea. And Horribly Slow won the Citizen's Choice, which is like the audience award, and it also won the Grand Jury Prize for Best Short Film. There was a cash award of 10 million Korean won. So I actually became a multimillionaire in Korea. It was very exciting. That's $4,000 US. Shortly after it finished playing most of the festivals, we decided to put it on YouTube. We put it up in October of 2009. This screen grab, if you look in the bottom right corner, you can see the view count is 2,076 views. This is after it had been up for 4 days. The crazy thing about this video, and it's never really happened to any of my other videos before or since, but it happened to this one, was it went viral. So keep an eye on that number in the bottom right corner. The next screen grab you're going to see is from exactly 1 month later, November 25th. Got over 1.1 million views in 1 month. And it was just crazy. It was featured on G4 TV's Attack of the Show, and we just kept seeing it everywhere. And it's just kept going and going like that. A month after that, it's got almost 2 million views, and something new is that ads are now appearing next to the video, and those little annoying banner ads that you have to click on the X to make them go away. So that's when I started to earn a little bit of money from YouTube because they would put up these ads. Google actually sent me an email after it got like 1 million views saying, would you like to become a partner? A YouTube partner is someone, you sign an agreement with them, and they will place ads. You have no, well, you do have some control over the types of ads. You can sort of choose, like, you don't want ads about dating services, or you don't want ads about political campaigns next to your video. Other than that, whoever bids on the ads, their ads get put up, and you earn a little tiny amount of money based on the number of views. So you really have to get a tremendous number of views to make some decent money. There's an ad for HBO. This is a sampling of some of the different ads that played alongside Horribly Slow in the first couple of months that it was on. Now, there are these pre-roll ads that are the skippable kind. You can actually choose whether or not you want the non-skippable kind, and I hate those, so I made it so that only the skippable one, so after 5 seconds, anyone can click and skip the ad if they're not interested. They're called True View ads by the industry, and that's because they're actually considered more valuable to the companies that are placing the ads, because they know that the people who actually watch these ads had the option to skip them. So they're considered to be, a full view of an ad is considered to be more valuable because it's someone who actually wanted to see the ad, so it's someone who was interested. This is a screen grab from the very early days of our YouTube channel. Everyone who puts up videos, who uploads videos on YouTube, gets their own channel automatically. If you look in the bottom left, you can see subscribers, 60. You can subscribe to a channel. I don't know, I'm sure a lot of you already know this, but with YouTube, if you want to subscribe to someone's channel, that simply means that whenever someone puts out a new video, you will get a notification that they have a new video, so you can go check it out. So this means that 60 people liked Horribly Slow enough that they would like to see our new stuff when we put new stuff out. That was October 26, 2009. 3 days later, October 29th, it has grown to 322. The next slide, I've skipped ahead 3.5 years, so it's kind of a shocking jump to see how much it has grown in 3.5 years. This is what our YouTube channel looks like today, and we now have 92,814 subscribers. So it's actually turned into an actual fan base of people who like our stuff. And so if we come out with a feature-length project, there's actually an audience out there. So it's kind of the same concept as an indie band having a following of people who like your stuff. So it's very valuable for that reason. We've put out a whole bunch of different videos continuing the saga of poor Jack Cucciaio. Ask Jack, Spaghetti Dinner of the Damned, Spoon versus Spoon. Save Jack is an interactive video. YouTube actually allows you to create these interactive links which look like buttons on the screen. So we created this sort of choose your own adventure of what would you do to stop the Ginasaji, you know, that kind of thing. And some other parody of Star Wars. And we started doing this thing called Ginasaji Fest every October. It's an annual costume contest. We saw a lot of people started sending in pictures of them dressed as the Ginasaji, as the spoon killer. And so we thought, well, let's encourage that with a contest, you know? And so we did this contest, a photo contest. The top 10 or top 20 will receive a Spoon Killer t-shirt. We have the Spreadshirt store, which is really just to help promote, doesn't make that much money. We received, in the first year we did the contest, 550 entries from 37 different countries around the world. And it was just sort of a fun thing for people to do. I was invited back to South Korea to that same festival after a year of stuff on YouTube, and they actually put together a feature-length program of every video we had made for YouTube up to that date. And they had 2 completely sold-out screenings, and at one of those screenings, a really cool thing happened. There was a guy in the audience dressed as the Spoon Killer. We have our Ginasaji here. And now this is a fan. This is some Korean guy who came to the screening. You know.
But what is your name?
Sure. Talk.
네, 감독님이 좋아하실까봐 이렇게 분장하라고 하는데 정형구라고 합니다. 반갑습니다.
My name is Hyung Jung, and I dressed up like this because I thought you'd like it.
I do very much.
굉장히
Ow! No, too hard.
너무 세게
Tell him too hard.
아, 그렇게 때리면 안 돼.
Too
너무
hard.
세게
Yeah,
때리면.
softer, less efficient. Less efficient.
So we created a bunch of souvenir spoons. Actually, Brian Rohan, the actor who plays the spoon killer, created these souvenir spoons. And I don't know if you can see this, but this is one of them. We actually brought about 10 of them. And Mike, I want you to raffle these off. These are rare collectibles. It's like the automatic duck bottle opener, But it'll be worth 10. But it'll be worth millions on eBay one day. So but only give it to people who really like the spoon killer. We had a giveaway of spoons in Korea, and I didn't have nearly enough. It turned into kind of a mob scene very quickly. That's the last one that 8 people are grabbing for. We have a Facebook page, and in the early days, if you look in the bottom left, 888 people like this, and in 3.5 years, it has just slowly grown. This is our current Facebook page. If you look down towards the bottom, a little off to the right of center, it says 70,000. We just broke 70,000 likes on Facebook. And it's kind of like the same thing as the subscriber count on YouTube. It's sort of for filmmakers who are trying to build their audience. It's an important number, and you just keep trying to grow it. The artwork there was done by a fan, a really talented fan. I love the scream in the middle there, where if you look way in the back, you can see the spoon killer back there. Other fan art that was created by different fans around the world. Hundreds of videos were created by fans around the world because kids just had a great time dressing up as the spoon killer, because it's so easy. You put on a black hoodie, you got a spoon, everyone's got that all over the world. And they hit their friends and they video it, and they're having fun doing it. There is a Lego Ginasaji, that's all I can show that. There's, I don't know if you've heard flash mob phenomenon. In Bilbao, Spain, a group of Ginasajis got together with a group of jacks and started hitting them with spoons and running around this public square in Spain. In the Urban Dictionary, there is now a definition for the word Ginasaji. Slow, steady, relentless force cannot be stopped, much like water slowly eroding a rock over time. In Chile, in Santiago, Chile, they were having educational protests, and at this protest march, one student came as the Ginasaji and started to attack a tear gas vehicle owned by the Chilean Special Forces. I think he somehow became a symbol of the relentlessness of their movement, like they're never going to give up. Fight the power. And this is another spoon killer who was at that same protest that we just found this photo online. There's a guy in Brazil, we saw this video a couple years ago, who got a permanent tattoo of the mark of the Ginasaji on his arm. This is another permanent tattoo. Permanent. This is when you know you have a cult following. So what we learned on YouTube to encapsulate. The genre that worked well for us, obviously, was comedy, and weird comedy is good. Make it very fast-paced, super tight editing, fast-moving narrative. Engage and interact with the audience as much as possible by encouraging comments, requesting ideas. Like at the end of some videos, we would say, how would you stop the Ginasaji? Tell us. And we would receive thousands of ideas from people, so it's kind of a cool thing. And interactive videos and contests. And then subtitles was an important thing that we've done. So also having closed captions for things for the hearing impaired was important, and I actually got a lot of thanks from various people for doing that. But to have this in lots of different languages for around the world, we put it into 17 languages. We've got "Come on, motherfucker" in 17 languages. So the question, can you make money on YouTube? The answer is yeah. But can you make a living off the money you make on YouTube? Ooh, man, there is a handful of people in the world who are doing that, because you have to get millions and millions and millions of views a month. I mean, you really have to get 1 million or a couple million views a week to really make a decent living off of it. It's tough. Our videos have now gotten, all of our videos together have gotten over 33 million views. And so it's a big number, and it sounds great, but you can't make a living off it, not over the course of 3 years. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys now, for anyone who's interested on doing stuff on YouTube, the best kept secret to success. This is something that really, I think YouTube only tells their partners about, and so it's something that most of the general public doesn't know about. But there's this book, a secret book. It's not really secret, but not many people know about it. It's called the Creator Playbook, and it's made by YouTube because they want videos to go viral. They want people to be successful, and so they created this thing called the Creator Playbook. Very easy to find. All you have to do is go to Google and put in YouTube Creator Playbook. You'll find it. They have their own website, but it's also a downloadable PDF that's over 100 pages, packed with incredible, great, up-to-date strategies and tips and techniques on how to be successful on YouTube, many of which we actually don't follow. Brian knows this quite well, is that we only put out new videos once every 2 to 6 months, because we treat each one like a short film that I try to make as cinematic as possible. It takes a long time, since we don't have a big company and big crew. And so to really be super successful on YouTube, you have to be cranking out stuff like every week. You gotta be just pumping stuff out, and so that's just not our thing. However, we've gotten some great rewards from it. What's the value of having this 92,000 people who are subscribers? The value is, there's this thing called Kickstarter. How many of you are familiar with Kickstarter? Almost everybody. For those who don't know, it's a fundraising site. You can go to Kickstarter.com and learn all about it. It's a way for you to raise money for your project. Show of hands, how many of you know about the Veronica Mars Kickstarter project? It's been huge in the news and all the entertainment news. Popular TV show years back, after 3 seasons it was canceled. The fans were very upset, very dedicated fan base. They decided to try to raise $2 million to make a feature film. They hit their $2 million goal in the first 11 hours, which is mind-blowing. The only reason that was possible, because I looked into that, how is this possible, is that actress Kristen Bell has over 1 million Twitter followers. So she had her fans primed and ready to go. The moment that thing went on, they just went nuts. So there was this tidal wave of money that went into this project, but it's broken all the records, and now there's a lot of people talking about doing Kickstarter. We had been thinking about doing Kickstarter because my real goal for my career is I want to make feature films. Shorts was just a way to be able to exercise creative control after having made a couple features where I didn't have that. And I just wanted to grow and be able to get into making features. The statistics from YouTube are very valuable. This is a list of the top 25 countries and how many views we've gotten from each of those countries. First, it shows potential investors, not necessarily just Kickstarter people, but just people with money that we're pitching the project to, that you know, it's popular all over the world, so we're able to show that. YouTube also gives me very detailed demographics of who's watching, and we know the biggest segment of the audience is boys aged 13 to 17, followed by males aged 18 to 24, which are both well-valued demographics. And then I'm going to end sort of with, before I take questions, if we have any time, but with a mind-blowing statistic, which is put into, really it's designed to try to blow the minds of potential investors. We put it into our packet to help us. Horribly Slow is 10 minutes long. It's received over 22 million views. So that's over 220 million minutes of time people have spent watching Horribly Slow. That's 418 years. People have spent more than 4 centuries of time watching watching that guy with a spoon hit another guy all over the world. To watch, for one person to watch it 22 million times, it would take, without a break, from the year 1595 to 2013. And that's all I have to say about that.